I'm gonna have you finish up here. Read down to verse. Read the verse 9, and I'm gonna go to
And
my last scripture.
okay, this is Proverbs chapter 8, and I'm going to read verse 5. O ye simple, understand wisdom, and ye fools, be ye of understanding heart. Hear, for I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. For my mouth shall speak truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing froward or perverse in them.
Like, hold on one second. So verse 6, right?
Mhm.
Here, for I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things, right? So this kind of goes hand in hand with Ecclesiastes, right? About giving the sacrifice of fools. Except this is how we should speak. Like, listen, right? And if we saying anything, we should be making sense. We should be using wisdom, right? If you gonna ask a question, somebody's going to give you an answer, and you already know you can't deny what's being said. You don't even know. You might not even have a clue what's going on. You just brand new. Instead of making an assumption about something, learn first, right? Don't be quick to just say something you don't have a clue what you're talking about. Like I said, a lot of people like to make up stuff that's in the Bible that's not even there. You know, it don't exist. No, it ain't in the Spanish Bible, it ain't in the French Bible, whatever language it ain't in there. Then people try to say, oh, it's not in the King James version. No, it's not in there either, right? And I'm not just talking about like a word or something. I'm talking about literally injecting a complete different idea into the word, completely different. Right? Oh, now we can do this and we can do that and we can celebrate this and we can celebrate that. Just pushing the whole thing in the scripture when it don't exist there. It ain't a translation error. It ain't a different version error. It's not a part of the scriptures. Period. Like I mentioned, the thing with Christmas it's not something you're supposed to be doing. Valentine's Day, not of the Most High, right? Easter, not of the Most High. Though the Bible mentions it, it's showing it in a negative light. Right? It's not shining on it like it's something good. A terrible time for us. Birthdays, historically terrible time. Like most of these pagan holidays, you know, come with a lot of blood in it, man. Even a lot of the fairy tale stories that you get the real history behind them, bloody stories, man. They just water them down for children to fall into it. Finding ways to package something just to sell another idea to you. Uh, keep going, sis.
Okay, verse 9. No, verse. Okay, I read from verse 8. So verse 9. They are all plain to him that understandeth, and right to them that find knowledge.
So it's not confusing. We're in the truth. We hearing this word. It's not confusing to us. You know, men and women together, not men and men. Now technically you shouldn't have to even rely on the Bible to tell you that because
It should be natural.
yeah,
Yes.
like come on, you
Mhm.
don't build nothing from there. Nothing comes from that. You can't grow anything out of that, right? Either or, it don't work that way. And if you was to push those type of people, an island with all men and an island with all women that's living those lifestyles, they just die off. That's the end of that. I don't even call it a lifestyle. I call it a way to die.
Yeah, they start fighting each other and just going
Yeah.
crazy. Like,
Suicide,
mhm.
you know. It's like people keep going, sis.
Okay, verse 10 reads, receive my instruction and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For
Kind,
wisdom is better than rubies, and all things that may be desired are not to be compared to it.
right? Like, You
I
you
will.
could
Oh, you're gonna.
you you,
Okay.
you couldn't put you couldn't put the best jewel on wisdom, man.
Mm-mm.
That's why you got to be a person that can't be bought, man. That's what happens with a lot of our leaders. They so easily bought. A lot of these pastors so easily bought, man. Especially the ones with these mega churches. Bought, man. A lot of them know later on they ain't got nothing coming to them. So they prefer to just have their kingdom right now, enjoying, which is really technically not even their kingdom, but just enjoy what they can for the moment, you know, and they just
Mhm.
waiting to go ahead and die off.
Envying their oppressors.
Come, trying to
Mhm.
fit in with the devil, man.
Okay. Verse 12 reads, I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions.
Come,
The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride, and arrogancy, and the evil way and the froward mouth do I hate.
come. So this is giving the explanation, right? What it means to fear the Most High, and not only just fearing the Most High, but loving wisdom, loving the things of the Most High. Keep going.
Counsel is mine, and sound wisdom. I am understanding. I have strength. By me kings reign, and princes decree justice. By my princes rule, and nobles, even all the judges of the earth. I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. Riches and honor are with me, yea, durable riches and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, yea, than fine gold, and my revenue than choice silver.
Come, Slaki. And this is the Most High's wisdom, the wisdom, right? And I'm saying the Most High wisdom because that's where it comes from. That's where true wisdom and knowledge comes from the Most High. It's better than anything material you could put your hand on, right? The Most High is the one that set up the rulers. Even with Esau, he's allowing it to happen, right? Allowing it.
Okay.
Keep going.
Verse 20 reads, I lead in the way of righteousness in the midst of the paths of judgment, that I may cause those that love me to inherit substance, and I will fill their treasuries. The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no fountains abounding with water. Before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world.
Kind of Salaki, right? So before anything was existence, even before the form of the earth, before those rocks, those spheres were created, wisdom was here, right?
It
And this is
also talking about
pretty,
YaHaWah too.
yeah, it's pretty
Mm-hmm.
much just saying the
Mm-hmm.
Most High was here before all of this because the Most High is wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
right? The Most High existed before everything, right? And the Most High created YaHaWah, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think you can outsmart or outwit somebody that's been here forever before anything existed? It's impossible, man. You have to be a special type of fool to believe to even just have the thought in your mind. Because
There's a
when I hear
lot of
people
those.
say, yeah, when I hear people say they no longer believe in the Most High, oh, the Bible is this, the Bible is that, word of God is this, and God ain't doing this, God ain't doing that, right? Do you even understand through the scriptures why? Why you not getting what you think you should have? Why you think you in the turmoil and bad conditions you in?
Because he blaspheming right now.
Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
that's a big problem with our people, and definitely says like it's just like when it comes to us, now if you was to put every nation in one category, right? You're always going to have somebody that wants to do something right, but without having the wisdom of the Most High, you technically can't. You can never classify yourself as righteous if you're not doing the will of the Father. That's the only thing that can put you in there. Doing something right and being righteous is not the same thing. You know, we do right what we think is right, but being righteous is actually what is right.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Doing His will. That's how
Yeah,
you know you're righteous. Yeah. Mm.
yeah. It's like being nice. You think you being nice. That ain't being nice. You think buying somebody a pack of cigarettes is a nice thing to do.
Mm.
Well, I smoke. I smoke. Yeah. Hey, I buy the cigarettes. You get the food. Whatever. No.
No, you ain't supposed to help them kill themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Contributing to somebody's destruction, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of my friends I used to work with, man, passed away. He was only like 20, I want to say about 26 years old. And he died of stomach cancer.
Mm.
And myself and other people tried to tell him, stop eating McDonald's, man. Stop it. And like he was a slim dude at first, but I seen him before he passed, and he had cancer real bad. He was in stage 4. His skin
Mm.
turned real dark, and his
Mm.
stomach was swollen up big.
Mm.
You know. Now I little brother like he was my own family, man. Real humble brother. But sometimes we do stuff to ourselves. We put ourselves in situations, and sometimes it's just too late. We can't get out of it. And I definitely I felt bad for the brother, man. And he said, hey, but he must have known something, man. The brother had to know the Most High something because not a teardrop from his eye, not a look of worry. The brother still smiled and everything. It was
Mm.
just like nothing was going on. Except that, hey, I did this to myself, man, and you know, and I was just like, brother, like, you're really okay with this, ain't you? He's like, yeah, yeah. Went on about his day like nothing up until the day he passed,
Mm.
right? And I pray he did find, I pray he did find the Most High, I'm hoping he did. Because most people that end up in them predicaments, they mad at the Most High. Why did you allow this to happen to me? They in a rage. You,
Mm.
you trying to box with somebody you can't even reach. Your arm ain't no nowhere near long
Mm.
enough to box with God, as they say.
Yeah, say your arm's too short.
Yeah,
Mm.
way too short, man. But I mean, sometimes we just end up in situations and we just can't get out. That's why we
If he
gotta,
accepted it, he had to know he had to find out who he was,
yeah,
who God is to accept that. And you have to, because if you mad, that means you don't know who he is. You don't know his power,
yeah,
and that is his will.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I really hope so. I say he didn't, you know, I was more emotional about his condition, and he's the person going through it
Mm-hmm.
because when you see somebody in a state of suffering, it's like, especially with your people, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like when I watched my own mother go through suffering in the illness, that took her out. But
Yeah, it
I
makes
seen,
you think about your own mortality. That's why a
yeah,
lot of people don't like to go to funerals, or just hear about any sickness. They get all squeamish when all of this. I'm not that person, but I mean, it ain't really. I don't feel it's necessary to go to everybody funeral. To sit there and watch that. Everybody breaking down like I don't want to hear all that crying and stuff. I'm like, I don't think it's necessary. If the person wasn't your close family, your close friend, just everybody, you can't go every time.
yeah, right,
Mm.
right.
Mm.
I said we really gotta to be like, we gotta tune our minds into this word constantly, man, nonstop. Brother, he shared a video with me. I checked it out today, man. And, he's going into how as fathers, we get distracted, and it's a big scheme of the enemy to put us away from our families, you know. And I don't just mean just like in the presence of them. I mean, even just in your mind, it's like you in your own zone, even when it comes to, you know, handling certain responsibilities family wise, as a leader, because we are great. We make a great impact on our families, and this world knows that. So there's every invention out there, every distraction out there to pull us away. So even my professor in school was telling us, in this country, it's hard to balance out your normal life with your work life. Like, you stare at problems on your job, or you constantly got to change jobs. This place makes it hard. Things wasn't always like that, but now that, especially us as a nation, you would think because we know in the truth that we'd be more united, but it's like we become even more divided, you know. And there's moments where you'll see, different camps united and come together, but for the most part, a lot of times we just ain't together like that. But Salaki,
Mm.
I
Stop
think
at
it's only
verse 25,
yeah, I think it's just two more verses I wanted you to read, and I'm gonna
26,
jump over to
27.
the last one.
Okay.
Yeah, read those.
Verse 26, Proverbs 8, verse 26. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth.
Keep going.
When he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he gave to the sea his decree that the waters should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth. Then I was by him as one brought up with him, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in the habitable part of his earth, and my delights were with the sons of men. Now therefore hearken unto me, O ye children, for blessed are they that keep my ways.
I'm gonna stop this one right here. Right. So before anything, any creation was made, goes into the waters. Even so much as when you think about how the water is, right? And we know sometimes the most I had that tsunami rise up, had that hurricane come, you know. It might rain so hard, you might have hail and stones. It's at the Most High's command, right? Everything in creation the Most High made does exactly what it's created to do. But us as people, we have minds to think, right? Think about it. We have a mind to actually think, brains in our skulls, and a lot of time we choose not to exercise anything. We don't choose to exercise wisdom, right? But just objects the Most High made it. They work perfectly. You know, even animals tend to, tend to be more wiser than us at times, man. They exercise wisdom more than we do. Like, if a predator ain't even hungry, it could be amongst the gazelles, the zebras and stuff. It ain't attacking nothing. No need to. And I'm not saying us as a nation we do this, being hunters is not just a thing that we do, in those times where we would have to go out for food and stuff. Hey, it's because it was a need. But with Esau, this is just fun to them. You know, they do it for fun. Even if it's to their own demise, they'll do it. Right. But we gotta realize, man, the wisdom of the Most High is wisdom. There is no other wisdom but that. Right? We went through First Corinthians. The wisdom of this world is foolishness. Stupid. There is no idea this world produced on its own that makes any sense. None. Not even a fragment of it. Right? If it ain't of the Most High, it's never going to make sense. Even sometimes, you might be reading the scriptures, you might not get the understanding of it right away. You might have to reach out. Somebody else can explain it to you. But once you grasp the idea of it and what the Most High is saying and explaining, it's set well in your heart, man. You know what? Why did I look at it this way? So that's why things are set up like this, right? But it's one more I want to just hit real quick. If you can go to Job, the first chapter,
Mhm.
I'll put it up from here. Job
Okay.
1, and let me see if I want verse 1 or what verse I want. Can you read verse 1?
Okay.
I'm gonna find the other verse too. But go ahead and read.
Okay. This is the book of Job, chapter 1 and verse 1. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared YaHaWah and eschewed evil. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters.
Salaki. Just to touch on verse 1 real quick, right? Now we read about when you using wisdom, when you in a righteous stance because you exercising the word of the Most High, right? It says that you would uplift righteousness. And I'm just paraphrasing. You exercise wisdom and you eschew evil, anything unrighteous, you're not dealing with that. Right? So it's telling you this is the type of man Job was. You know, Job was under the wisdom of the Most High and righteousness. He wasn't a
Mhm.
person that had his own ideologies about stuff and just went on about to live life his way. But
Mhm.
keep going.
Verse 3. His substance also was 7,000 sheep, and 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 she asses, and a very great household. So that this man was the greatest of all men of the East.
And in Job's time, just like Solomon, right? Job was the greatest, right? Job was a man of the Most High. He wasn't
Mhm.
a person that said that did his own thing. And anytime you read about somebody that followed the Most High wholeheartedly, you see the praise that Scripture gives them, but you also see where they give all honor and glory to the Most High. Everything goes back to the Father, right? Nothing is to be put on yourself as it's you doing it. You know, even with myself, man, I was a person in school. I didn't always, do good. But as I got older, I started taking things more serious, right? And it's the Most High that gave me that understanding, especially with the scriptures. At one point in my life, I was terrible at reading, real bad. Just through reading the scriptures, it helped me to read even better, have better understanding, you know. And it's all of those things are credited to the Most High. As small as somebody might think, everything's credited to the Most High, right? One point, um, I had certain issues health wise. I don't have it no more. I used to have epilepsy real bad. I believe I started having it probably like 9 or 10 years old. You know, had it for years when I was younger. Most I took that away from me. It wasn't man. No medication did that.
Mhm.
Made it to 39 years old. I had other issues. The Most High does that. You know, Most High can maim you, restore you back whole. That's something we all that gotta consider and think about, man. Like when it comes to the Father, He's in control of everything.
Mhm.
Ain't anything He ain't in control of, right? This whole thing going on, the government shutting down. Most High running the show, man. He's
Mhm.
showing you if I want this not to work, I can cause division. Hey, same thing with Pharaoh. Most High say, hey, you know what? You gonna let my people go? All right, I'll harden your heart, man. So just so you can receive these plagues.
Mhm.
Just to plague you. I do that. Some people might say, "Oh, why the Most High do this? Most High's being no, it ain't something you poke your finger at the Most High. Nah, man.
Mhm.
The
Got to
Most High is
understand how he
yeah,
thinks. Yeah.
yeah. The Most High is the supreme power. Exactly, sis. Most High don't think like we think. Our ways are not His ways. His ways are not our ways.
And that's the mistake people make. That's why they can't get down with how he running the show.
Yeah,
He's racist. He all of these horrible things that but he running the show. He shut you down right now if he wants to.
okay.
Hmm.
Uh,
In the moment.
oh yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
Mm,
That's when she read down like verse 6, I think 6 or 7.
okay. Verse 4. This is Job, the first chapter, verse 4 reads, and his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day, and sent and called for their three sisters to eat and to drink with them. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, It may be, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed YaHaWah in their hearts. Thus did Job continually.
Down, right? So Job did a deed to try to save his family. Right? Now it's showing Job was righteous, but his children wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They was in sin. They was going against the Father. And we
I'm
know we
sure
don't.
he taught them, and they knew, but
Yeah,
they did what they wanted. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Job, not Job, with Noah and his sons. They knew. Noah was taught all his sons.
Mm-hmm.
But out of his son Shem was chosen from Shem's bloodline on down to the day.
Mm-hmm.
See, go ahead, read on. Yeah,
Verse
stop at
6.
like verse 9.
Okay.
Yeah,
Verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of YaHaWah came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, Doeth Job fear God for naught? Hast not thou made an hedge about him and about his house and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face.
kind of stop right there. Right. So this is something that we all face, whether we might know it or not. We all go through this. Right. When we doing right, we following the Most High. You know, it's that thing that comes to bother us, to try to take us off our square, knock us right off of it. Right. And so this is Satan saying, hey, this is the reason why Job is following you. The Most High know that ain't the reason. You know, Job was a man that exercised wisdom and righteousness, right? So whether he had all the things that he had or not, Job was going to follow the Most High no matter what. He wasn't letting his children nor his wife turn him either direction. He was going to walk that straight and narrow path, right? So this is an example to show us, even and as you read the book of Job, even through all of the suffering that Job went through, you know, Job never, not once, through all the pain and all the suffering, turned away from the Most High. Not once. And in the end, Job was restored, right? Now, originally, I was going to go through this whole story. It's kind of long, but I said, let me just cut it down a little bit and I can pick up on the rest of it another time. But it's just to understand, man, this is the way we got to think. These are how we got to be. Even if our children choose to go off, we got to pray for them. We got to want them to do right. Of course, we can't force them to do anything, but we can't allow that to turn us away. There's one thing I've seen as many times with friends of my own. You know, a friend might have a brother or sister that's turned out to be gay or lesbian. Now all of a sudden you don't have so much problems with that community no more. It ain't, maybe it's not so bad because you don't want to look down on your sister or your brother, or you might have a parent that turned out like that. Now you don't want to say nothing because your mother or father turned out to be like this. You know, you might have somebody in your family that's straight up thief. You don't want to talk about people being thieves and stealing and being dishonest because hey, dang, I got a son, he's always stealing stuff, man. I don't want to have to look down on my son. We start to not realizing that we joining the party of wickedness, man. We becoming just as evil and wicked as they are because we ain't speaking up against it. And Job wasn't that type of person. Job was fully against it, right?